I used to believe that love arrived loudly. I imagined it as something dramatic, doors slamming, hearts racing, rain soaked confessions on empty streets. I believed it would announce itself, demand attention, change everything at once. That was the version of love I carried with me through my 20s, like a well worn book whose ending I already thought I knew. I was wrong. Love didn't arrive loudly for me. It arrived quietly, through a man who never tried to impress me, who didn't raise his voice or make promises he couldn't keep. It arrived slowly, the way morning light fills a room before you realize the night is gone. And it changed everything. I met Daniel on a Tuesday. I almost canceled. I had just moved back to my hometown after 7 years away. The city had chewed me up and spit me out with polite indifference. My long-term relationship had ended, not with betrayal or anger, but with exhaustion. Two people realizing they were no longer growing in the same direction. I came home with boxes, doubts, and a quiet fear that maybe I had missed my chance at something real. My friend Emma insisted I join her at a small literary cafe downtown. "Just one coffee," she said. "You don't even have to talk to anyone." Daniel was sitting at the table next to ours. I noticed his hands first. They were steady, thoughtful, the kind of hands that looked like they built things or fixed them rather than broke them. He was reading, completely absorbed, occasionally pushing his glasses up with the back of his finger. There was nothing extraordinary about him at first glance, and somehow that made him impossible to ignore. When Emma went to order, Daniel looked up and smiled at me. Not the practiced kind, the real one. "Is that book worth reading?" he asked, nodding toward the novel in my hands. "It depends. Are you patient?" He laughed softly. "I've been told I am." That was it. No spark, no lightning, just two people speaking honestly for the first time. We talked for an hour, then two. He was an architect. He loved old buildings, believed they carried memories in their walls. He had moved back home after his father passed away to help his mother sell the family house. He didn't overshare, but he didn't hide either. When the cafe closed, he asked if he could walk me home, not because he had to, because he wanted to. That mattered to me. Our relationship grew in fragments. Coffee dates that turned into dinners, walks that lasted longer than planned, silences that felt comfortable rather than awkward. Daniel listened more than he spoke, and when he did speak, his words carried weight. He never tried to be impressive. He never pretended to be someone else. And slowly, without realizing it, I began to feel safe. That terrified me. I had learned how to survive love. I didn't know how to rest inside it. There were moments when I pulled away, canceling plans, answering messages late, pretending I was busier than I was. Daniel noticed, of course. He always noticed. But he never accused me. One evening, after I had been distant for days, he asked quietly, "Are you afraid of me?" The question landed between us like glass. "No," I said too quickly. He nodded, accepting the lie without agreeing with it. "I'm not in a hurry," he said, "but I want to know you're here because you choose to be." That night, I cried alone in my apartment, angry at myself for wanting to run from the one person who had never hurt me. Love doesn't challenge you with pain at first. It challenges you with truth. I fell in love with Daniel on a Sunday morning. Not during a kiss, not during a confession. I fell in love with him while watching him repair a broken chair in my kitchen. He had been there since the night before, staying over because we had watched old movies until we fell asleep on the couch. I woke up to the sound of wood scraping gently against wood. "You don't have to do that," I said, still half asleep. "I know," he replied, "but I want to." Something in my chest softened. I realized that loving him didn't feel like losing myself. It felt like being seen without performance. That scared me more than heartbreak ever had. The first time we fought, it was my fault. I accused him of being emotionally distant because he hadn't said, "I love you" yet. But words burned my tongue even as I spoke them. I was projecting my fear onto him, demanding proof in the form of timing. He didn't raise his voice. "I won't say it just because you're afraid," he said calmly, "but I will say it when it's true." I wanted to be angry. Instead, I felt ashamed. 2 weeks later, he said it quietly while washing dishes. "I love you," he said, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. It was. We were together for 2 years before life tested us. Daniel was offered a job in another country, an opportunity he had dreamed of but never expected. When he told me, his eyes searched mine, already bracing for impact. "I don't want to lose you," he said. I felt the familiar panic rise again, the urge to choose certainty over vulnerability. Staying meant risk, leaving meant control. That night, I told him I couldn't go. The words broke something between us. We separated quietly. No shouting, no drama. Just two people standing in the ruins of a future that almost was. I told myself it was the right choice. I told myself love shouldn't require sacrifice. I was lying. Months passed, then a year. I dated other men. I smiled. I lived, but no one felt like home. Love without depth felt loud and empty. I missed Daniel in ordinary moments. The grocery store, the sound of rain, broken furniture. One evening, I received a letter. Not a message, a letter. Daniel wrote about the city he lived in now, about buildings and silence and learning how to be alone. He didn't ask me to come. He didn't ask for anything. He ended with one line. "I still choose you, even when I don't get to have you." I booked a flight the next day. Love, I realized, is not about safety. It's about courage. When I saw him again, standing at the airport with the same quiet smile, I knew. "I was afraid," I told him, "but I don't want a life where fear makes my decisions." He took my hands. "Then stay," he said, "not because it's easy, because it's true." Now, years later, I understand. Love didn't arrive loudly. It arrived honestly, and it stayed.